Hello, family. You just tuned into Better Together, sharing our lupus stories. I'm Chanel Gabriel, and we are live and talking about lupus. All right. So I'm never alone here. You know, I got my co host in the building. Please put some hearts in the chat as we welcome to the virtual stage Dr. Michaela Bayard.
Hey,
Hey.
Chanel.
Hi, how are you doing? So good to see you. I can't believe we're at the end of season 5. Oh my gosh, and the end of 2025. How is
It's,
your year winding down?
well, yes, it is phenomenal that we have done 5 seasons. But my year is winding down well. I'm finishing up a course I teach. So that kind of feels like a nice way to frame the new year, starting off after the course ends. So I'm excited.
Ooh, what's this course you're teaching? Just curious.
I teach second years about rheumatology. So, second year medical students, so doctors in training, they're learning all about the things we talk about here.
Yep. That's so great. So I'm glad you're wrapping up. You're feeling good. I think I'm just like feeling, I'm just wrapping up a few last minute gigs, last minute shows. It's just been a really, really crazy week. We did a tribute to D'Angelo like a week ago in Brooklyn and just a couple things coming up. So it's a really good end of year.
It's awesome. I know you're a vision board girl. So, have you hit all your goals for 2025?
See, this year I did not. I forgot. I didn't prioritize doing a vision board and I feel absolutely scattered. So I didn't really have any set goals. But I do feel like I did a lot of really great work, a lot of good spaces and places, putting my voice in different rooms that I never thought to really put myself in there. But what about you? Do you think you accomplished all of your goals this 2025?
Well, I was reflecting because my son turned 2. I have 2 sons, and the youngest one turned 2. So I feel like any birthday when your kids are little feels like a goal, like an accomplishment. So I think that's a big one. But yeah, I think I also slack on the vision board. So maybe that will be a resolution for 2026.
Well, you know what? Listen, we made it through a crazy, but it was a fruitful year because I have a
Mhm.
quick announcement. So, Better Together, this show is a finalist for the Participant Engagement Award at the 2026 Scope Summit. And it highlights people doing really great things in clinical research. So, like, that's something that we can
Wow,
talk about.
that's huge. Congratulations to the team. It's amazing that we're going to be in
Yeah.
the Scope Awards.
I mean, you're a part of the team. I'm hoping we win. But just to even make it to the finals is an honor. So I got to give a special shout out and thanks to Kate Wilson and Savine DaCosta over at Biogen, and shout out our media partner at BDO, and of course Proximity, the executive producers of this show. We got to shout them out. I'm acting like we won the award already. Like this is the acceptance speech, but
Finals are big. Finals are big.
yeah.
So good things are definitely coming the way of Better Together, I guess we could say. So this is a great segue because today we're talking about mindset and how it matters and positive tools for life. So such a great topic to end the year on. We're going to be exploring how our outlook can impact our health outcomes, which, I know is a huge piece. And today's guests will be sharing ways they stay positive through challenges. And Chanel, can you do the honors and introduce our first guest?
Certainly. So our first guest is Shedrica Holmes. Welcome to the stage.
Hi.
Hi, so great to have you.
So happy.
So yes. Okay, so Shedrica is a planning strategist and chronicpreneur. I love that. A chronicpreneur mentor who helps women with chronic illness rebuild their identity, energy, and confidence through planning. I'm a big planner, so I love this, and faith-led guidance. And she does this work as the founder of Chronically Planned Collective, a community that offers digital tools, strategy sessions, coaching, and she's representing Tennessee with a fun fact. She is obsessed with stickers. Apparently, it's part of your planning process. Yeah, I know you sell planners with your brand, but stickers is your thing.
Absolutely. I mean, it makes me feel motivated to use my planner and be productive. So I have to have a sticker.
Amazing.
Well, stick away. If that helps everybody, I feel like you do whatever gets you excited, but we're so glad to have you. Thank you. And for our next guest, we have my soror, Ayanna Dookie.
Hey, everybody. Hello.
Hey, Ayanna.
How is everybody doing?
Feeling good. Glad to have you. So let me
Thanks,
introduce you real quick. You got a nice little bio here. Ayanna Dookie is a stand-up comedian, a writer, and storyteller. And I have to show a little clip. Like here she is in an interview with Roy Woods Jr.
So Roy at that point was like, well, I have a friend who has lupus. Let me put my two lupus friends together. You know how it's like when you at work and you the only black person at work, and then somebody's like, did you meet Keisha? That's what Roy did to me. So now I got a new lupus friend.
That is hilarious. Why do people do that? I feel like I got a lot of random friends that people just put my way because we have lupus.
Well, you guys should know each other. It's like, okay.
Right. Well, I got to finish the rest of your bio because you've been featured on Comedy Central, BET, True TV's Laugh Tracks, NPR's Snap Judgment, and many other places where laughs are had. And Ayanna's writing can be seen on BET's 50 Central and MTV's Wildin' Out. And Ayanna uses her platforms to share stories on her life with and without lupus, both on and off stage. And her fun fact is she doesn't know how to ride a bike.
Do not know how to ride a bike. Do not know how to ride a bike.
But you always learn.
At this point, it's a joke. I feel like every guy I date, they're like, I'm going to teach you how to ride a bike. And that's like always the curse. They never make it around to the spring. It never happens. I give up. I have a Peloton.
That's it. You know what? Wherever you get your spins at. But thank you so much for joining us. We're so glad to have you. And next we have sharing her wisdom, Dr. India Barkley joining us.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Excuse my voice. I'm just recovering from sore throat from my baby, from taking care of my daughter, but I'm here.
Oh, no, we're so glad to have you. Thank you for still being here. Now, Dr. India is a tenured doctor of acupuncture, which she received from the Pacific College of Oriental Medicine in San Diego, California. And she's also been a Reiki practitioner and master teacher, giving patients access to quality integrative care for over 10 years. And as a former professor at New York College of Health Professions, I think this is super important. You're ranked as the only Black female acupuncture educator in New York City. So you're residing in Poughkeepsie, New York. And your fun fact is before you entered acupuncture school, you spent years in interior design?
I did. I used to design backsplashes and high-end kitchen designs. It was a fun time to be, in life. It was really awesome.
Oh,
I can see the design from the hat.
Right. It was something that stayed with me, and I was able to just like bring that, that artistic flair into my practice and obviously my home. So it actually wore well.
Beautiful. Well, it's an amazing transition. We're so happy to have you in the acupuncture world. So great to have you here tonight. And we're going to move on to our next guest, who is joining us for our Spotlight on Research and is a repeat guest, Dr. Ashwin Boda.
Hello, everybody. Great to be here.
Thank you for joining us again. So Dr. Ashwin Boda is Operations Director at Precision Comprehensive Clinical Research Solutions. He has actually been working in the rheumatology research field for the last 16 years in many roles and has trained different research sites on best practices in clinical research. So no one better to learn from. Welcome back, Dr. Boda. How does it feel to be back with us?
Always a pleasure. I love hearing the stories, and it is a true pleasure to be here.
Well, thank you for the amazing work you're doing, and we're just grateful to have you with us again.
Thank you.
Oh, this is so good. And we have other guests that are in the building. Yes, that's everyone out there watching. You are a guest. So make sure you join us by using that chat. asking questions, chiming in, saying, okay, I feel that, putting some hearts in the chat when you like something that's said. But show love. We're here and you're here with us. All right. Now it's time for our first guest. We're going to put some purple hearts in the chat as we welcome Shedrica Holmes. Welcome to the virtual stage.
Yay.
Hey.
So welcome back, Shedrica. Thank you for joining us. We always kick off everyone's story by asking them to tell us more about their lupus story. So please share.
My lupus journey is a very long one, but I'll give you the short version. I was diagnosed at the age of 21. So like right when everybody was getting through school and figuring themselves out, I was sick, really, really sick. I just started showing signs of, I guess, losing weight drastically, like all the way down to 80 pounds.
Wow.
Used to get sick, like tonsillitis, just really throat stuff. Then my skin would like break out really, really bad, and I would just have hives that would just not go away. And so when I started losing my hair, the guy that I was dating, mother actually took me to an urgent care, and I got my lupus diagnosis that same day.
Wow.
So I wasn't one of those stories where I had to wait a long time to get my diagnosis. But from there, I just really didn't. I feel like this is something important I like to share as well, is when you're that young age and you're not really thinking about insurance coverage because you're like young. It's so important to do that because of that, my delay of getting better care or help was a horrible experience. I got down to 80 pounds. I was in a wheelchair. I had to learn how to walk. I had to learn how to talk. I had to learn how to do everything all over again. But that was like the worst of my lupus experience. The rest of it has just been maintenance and flares in my skin and things like that.
Well, thank you for sharing. I mean, and that insurance part, yeah, of course, you're young, you're like, I'm living my best life. I could never get sick, and not realizing how that can also hinder if something does happen. But I mean, you mentioned a few things and that this was a dark season. What do you think, like, if there's a moment you can think of that might have been the darkest season? Like, you're like, this was a really particularly hard time during your journey. And please, like, share with us, how did you overcome it? That'd be great if you could share that.
I think my darkest season was the beginning when, I'm an adult, and my mom has to wipe my butt because I can't do it. Literally, I cannot do it. Having someone do everything for me was very dark, just knowing that you used to be able to walk and now you can't, or speak, and you really want to get your words out, but they're just not coming out. I think it was very, very frustrating to feel that. And it made me go through a deeper depression just because it was just something I didn't ever think I would have to experience at a young age. But I would say that was my darkest season. I overcame it because my family loved me down. They prayed over me. They put oils on my forehead. Like they was doing it all. And it just gave me the lift that I needed, the boost that I needed to say, I can't give up. I can't quit, even if it's just for them. And then just really honing in on my faith and believing that I would get better. And that is what has sustained me still to this day.
Just a thought, just to chime in. I know Dr. Miguel has a question, but I think that's interesting. The fact that was really, really hard for your, like, you're like, oh, my family has to take care of me. But then the thing that got you through was the fact that your family took care of you. And I think that's just even a reframing in itself. That's powerful.
Yeah. So beautiful that you have that support from your family. And, you had shared with us before that there were some other tough points, including a tough relationship. How did that impact you physically and outside of that?
Oh, the relationships. I would say that is my kryptonite of this whole situation because I love hard and I give my all. And sometimes most times that has not been the best situation for me, because when I am not being treated well or just loved on properly, and I have a great example because my family loves on me so well that when I'm giving that back and I don't get that in return, it makes me sick. It makes it difficult to, even if that's the thing, and I know this is weird, but I always say, who would do this to a person who's sick? You know, it's like I get this pass, but I really don't. They don't see you as that. And it's like the moment that you can't get up to cook, or the moment you can't please them in the way that they want to, then you're like dust. And that can be, hurtful, because you want to perform in your best way. And so those relationships have triggered me and made me very sick, I guess. And amongst other things, but relationships just have been hard to maintain. Yeah.
I mean, clearly you're here and you're thriving. So we want to know, what would be the advice you have for someone who's been through a tough relationship?
Love yourself first. That would be the number one thing. Love yourself, love God, and believe that you don't have to settle for less than what you deserve.
Beautiful.
That's great. Yeah. Amen to that. And I know we have a little bit more time left. I want to ask you about, and first of all, love yourself first, period. In the sentence, mic drop, right? But what made you create the Chronically Planned Collective? Please tell us just a little bit more about that. I'd love to let everybody know this amazing work that you're doing.
So the Chronically Planned Collective is my baby. It is what I felt like is every person who has a chronic illness, I won't say just lupus, that their healing journey. And so it's built up as a community space, but it's more so like lessons. And we start out with faith first, and then there's the healing portion, mind, body, spirit. So I have instructors and other people inside that teach different things on faith, or your mind, your body, your spirit, nutrition. And then we also have business. So people who want to learn how to do a podcast, or you want to learn how to make money online and do digital products. And then me, I teach planning and systems and organization so that you can, live a fuller life if you plan for it. And so that's what the collective is. It's just me and amongst other women who that I actually had on my podcast show. And we work together to provide content for the community. But what led me to that is just I love people. I love helping people. And I wanted something where people could get everything in one place. Due to funding, disability, not being able to work, we can't afford all of these different things like a nutritionist or an energy healer or a yoga teacher. So being able to pay one price to be able to get all of that transformation in one place is what was the goal.
Wow, Shedrica. We're both trying to talk over each other about this.
Wow, I was just saying, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing how you're supporting people in so many different spaces, and giving training around the new tools. That's phenomenal. So thank you for sharing your journey, and how you've moved forward. We're going to have you come back in a few.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, let's welcome our next guest. So I would say put some pink and green, but we here for Lupus. So put some purple hearts in the chat for Ayanna Dookie.
Hello.
Hey, Ayanna.
Hey.
Thank you for joining us again. And now we're going to give you the mic. You're used to that. So you need to share your lupus story with us.
Okay, so I was officially diagnosed 3 days after my 31st birthday. My symptoms, I just had clawy hands, and when I went to the doctor, apparently I was running a fever. He did some blood work, which confused me because I'm like, my hands hurt. Leading up to that, I'd been diagnosed with tendonitis, but looking back, I realized that it was actually lupus. It was very hard for me because I had already planned on leaving Maryland, where I grew up, to move to New York to further pursue my comedy career. And that just threw the biggest monkey wrench in my plans. I still moved forward with that, But the first year in New York, if I knew it was going to be that hard, I don't think I would have done it. And I'm glad I didn't know. I ended up in the hospital. I moved to New York March of 2013. By December of 2013, I was in the hospital. My parents had to come from Maryland. Actually, that's where that story with Roy was. I called him on my way to the ER for that trip. And that's when he was telling me he was in LA and couldn't get to me, and I would have to call my parents because I had no one else in New York. And it was really hard. That flare lasted for 7 months, and it was very frustrating because I came to New York to hit the ground running, literally, to pursue my career in stand-up. And that is extremely labor intensive, just humping throughout the city from club to club, show to show. And I was unable to do that because I had pleurisy in my lungs and around my heart. And it was extremely defeating because I came to do a thing, and now this new thing is not allowing me to do the thing. But over the course of time, finding the right doctors, and just learning how my body, I think all lupus warriors realize the symptoms, the triggers that, might lead to a flare, or you notice the signs like, bad times are around the corner if I don't sit down for a second. So over the course of how many years, over a decade of having lupus, I've learned those signs, those triggers, and I've learned how to manage it a lot better than that first year.
No, thank you. That part about just learning your body is definitely, that's empowering, as opposed to just like, oh, these things just happen to me. I feel like the fact that you're like, oh, I had to learn what my triggers are, and now I'm kind of taking control of that. That's really, really empowering. And with all that you've dealt with, I mean, that's a big shift to move to a new city and then have to figure out how to deal with this, with all of those things. What was a moment? Can you think back to like maybe a specific moment that was just like, you were like, yo, what the heck is going on? And how did you navigate that feeling of like, that distraught feeling of not maybe having control the way you thought, or things not working out the way you thought they would?
I think when I was first diagnosed, I wanted to put it on the back burner. And I remember being prescribed medication and being told I have to take it for the rest of my life, and being like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It did not register that this is a lifelong thing. And when I started feeling what pleurisy, it was the first time I ever felt that. So I'm like, what is happening to my body? Because to me, the only other experience I had with lupus was severe arthritis. So to start feeling the shortness of breath, the tightness, I can't lay on my back, I can't walk up the steps in New York City. New York in general is a high intensity interval training. Just to get groceries. You working out.
That's a workout.
Yeah, it's a complete workout. And to have that moment and realize, oh no, this is real. This is not just my hands hurt and I'm just going to get back to it. This is going to sit you down. That was that moment. And that was devastating because I think most lupus warriors go through this where they mourn the life that they had prior to their diagnoses. And that was the hardest thing to realize, that who I was before this diagnosis is never again going to be who I am. And there are days that I still have that moment where I'm like, all right, this is where we at. And I think just having to take medication regularly is that daily reminder, or that weekly reminder, or being in the doctor's office every quarter, having to get blood work, all the things that we do on a regular basis that now have become our new normal. There's still constant reminders of the life that we left behind. So I think I answered your question.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely shared like the feelings that the hard times, but like, I guess, where did you get to a place of like, I accept this? This was definitely hard, but what was it that helped you get to a place of like, this is what it is? This grieving part, I guess, that place of acceptance in that grieving moment. Although I know it's not a linear thing at all.
Yeah. I I think it's not when did I get to it. I think it's constantly moments throughout my life. Like I go to the gym 5 days a week. I'm training for. I want to do a half marathon next year. I'm training for high rocks. I'm lifting weights today. I pushed a 110-pound sled. So it's moments like that, yeah, where I'm like in spite of. Um, and I just think finding opportunities like that. Sometimes when I'm out and about, I was out till 2 o'clock in the morning last night for shows, and then I still showed up at the gym today. And and then my friend is not feeling well. She has a cold. I stopped off and dropped her meds, and it's having moments like that where I'm still able to be a good friend, still able to work out, still be a comedian, still have a life. And I don't think it's a one time thing. I think it's the moments that I remind myself of, in spite of, I'm still pushing through. So
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I know that comedy plays a huge role in your life, and how has that impacted your health journey?
it's challenging because comedy the hours are, as my friend calls them, vampire hours. We're just out and about, and I have to realize that um, I have to run my own race.
Mm.
So there are times where I know I'm not going to do 3, 4 shows a night. Or I'm gonna, if I do that tonight, I'm not doing that tomorrow or the next day.
Right.
But I will say that I'm very vocal about having lupus. And I will say that my fellow comedians and bookers, a decent amount of them are sensitive to that and are mindful of that. And I love having that community where, I'm not judged for that. If I'm tired, to me, more so, it's not necessarily about the comedy and the getting on the stage. It's the community that I have with the comics and the bookers and the producers and the bartenders and the staff and everybody that I interact with throughout the city as I'm doing my thing on a nightly basis, and how supportive and understanding. And then even so, some other comics, they're just like, man, you're keeping up with us and we don't got chronic illnesses. My friend at the gym today said, he's like, I don't know where you get all this energy from. And I think when you start focusing on what you can do, you can do more of that, as opposed to we do have the woe is me moments, but the more you focus on that, then I feel like that's what drags you down. So I try to really stay on top of what I can do and throw my energy at that.
And it's so funny. I appreciate the fact that you said that, because I mean, most people don't know that the life of a comedian looks so glamorous. You just laugh all day, not realizing how demanding it is. Like literally, everyone's like, you're just laughing, and that's your job, is to laugh and to go places and make people laugh. But the fact that you're like, no, this is actual work, and that you found a community to support you around that. Because I definitely heard that as a poet, where people be like, what's your excuse? Chanel has lupus. Like, So thank you for bringing up this idea, how important it is sometimes, and maybe other people in different work spaces don't understand that sharing your journey might actually help support you and find people to support you.
Yeah. Sometimes people are nervous to say anything because they're afraid they're going to be shunned. But for the most part, I find that folks are more than willing to try to meet you where you're at. Provided you're an actual considerate, kind person.
But what does that conversation look like? I think that's what our viewers need to hear.
I've learned how to advocate for myself. And to me, it's all about creating boundaries. So even if it's not that you have lupus, even if it's not lupus, whatever it is, we all have something going on.
Yes.
So I just try to be as honest and as transparent as possible, within reason of sharing what I feel comfortable sharing. And I just let folks know that I don't have if we are a video game, my energy bar is not going to be as high as yours. And my energy bar might drain quicker than yours. So, a lot of times people think, they're like, you don't drink. And I'm like, I do drink, but if I drink, that energy bar is going down. So I have to make modifications along those lines. And once I share this with people, more times than not, they know somebody with lupus or they know somebody with a chronic illness, you know, or, and then sometimes I'll get the folks that say, well, you don't look sick. And we've all experienced that. Um, you know, and those folks, you know, meet them where they're at or don't. But ultimately, I remember that my priority is taking care of me. And there will be times where people don't want to hear what I have to say, but more times than not, folks are accommodating as long as I am upfront. And again, I don't shy away from this is what I need. And it is challenging to learn how to ask for what you need, ask for what you want, and advocate for yourself. But I think like anything with practice, it becomes easier over time.
As you do it. Yeah.
Amazing. Ayanna, you're dropping so much knowledge. Thank you for sharing your experience. We're going to bring you back. So we're excited to talk to you more.
All right. Thank you. Yes. Them boundaries. All right. Well, our next guest brings holistic care to the health journey, and she's going to show us how to do so. So please put some purple hearts in the chat as we welcome to the stage Dr. India Barkley.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here.
Thank you for joining us. So we are focusing today on mindset, and we would love to have you begin with addressing misconceptions people have around acupuncture and really thoughts that it's only used for people with pain. So can you explain a little bit to our viewers about what it is and some reasons behind what it might benefit and who it might benefit?
Sure. So acupuncture is it's a medical therapy from traditional Chinese medicine that uses extremely thin, and I have a needle here because most people want to know, what does it look like?
Yes.
Can you guys see this little tiny needle?
It's really small.
Really small. It's like hair thin. As you can see, it's individually packed, it's sterile. And so these needles stimulate points along pathways that we call meridians. And what happens is these points communicate with the nervous system, they communicate with your fascial network, they communicate with your brain, and they help the body to self-regulate, but in a non-pharmacological, non-surgical way, which feels good to know that you have that opportunity to do that.
So like non-medicine, non-prescription medicine in that sense.
Non-prescriptive, exactly. So in theory, acupuncture can help with pain, but also inflammation. It can help with hormonal balance. It can help with stress and anxiety. It can help with sleep disturbances, the digestive system, immune regulation, and obviously autoimmune issues as well, including when there's a flare or just the chronic fatigue that's associated with it. So I personally, I find, because I've treated many lupus patients, acupuncture is useful to calm down that overactivation of the immune system and just the stress response. And it helps to support the body just to find more balance internally in a kind of visceral feeling way.
Got you. Okay. So yeah, I know a friend of mine uses it for migraines, but it's interesting to see it used in all these other ways. So thank you for clarifying. So, I mean, with your experience in Reiki and holistic care, can you share really quickly what the mind-body connection is and how can what's going on around us impact the actual physical part of the body and healing?
So the mind-body connection, from my vantage point clinically, is really understanding that your thoughts, your emotions, and the beliefs that you hold, they send chemicals into the body through the nervous system, and somehow that directly influences your physical body, right? So if you think about when the mind is holding stress, right, stressful thoughts, or is feeling overwhelmed, the body produces more cortisol. The immune system becomes more reactive. The muscles tend to tighten. I can feel this clinically. Or the blood flow shifts away from healing the body and digesting. So pretty much when you are like under this influence of stress, you'll find that the body is a direct correlate of how the mind is functioning. So my goal, usually with acupuncture, is to help a patient access feeling calm, feeling supported, feeling grounded in their body, and shift them back into feeling more restful, into more of a repair state, and essentially a healing mode.
So thank you so much for sharing. And with all your knowledge, tell us a little bit about what are some other ways that can help support someone to shift into a positive mindset outside of acupuncture.
So outside of acupuncture, which is usually the homework that I give my patients, because I'm always doing that because it's a team effort. Really just setting micro goals, right? Having small wins to build hope and momentum towards bigger goals. One thing I've been prescribing high ambitious women in particular is to have a midday pause. A midday pause really helps to lower that cortisol that shows up at nighttime. So just setting your timer or setting a clock for 20 minutes, completely unplug from everything, dim the lights, and just go into like a peaceful place. If you meditate, it could be that practice, maybe listening to some music, maybe doing some self-massage or EFT tapping, but hit that in midday. And there's a huge difference as you go towards the end of the day. So that's something that I've really been kind of pushing and prescribing. I also just find, be aware of more compassionate self-talk, right? As opposed to like, why is this happening to me and how inconvenient the body can be versus, what I try to teach is that your body's protecting you. It's working with you. It's not an enemy, even though the symptoms may feel like that. It's really working with you. So really just honoring your own body's pace and recognizing that rest is not weakness. It's medicine. It's a strategy, actually.
Thank you. You said high achieving woman. I was like, oh Lord, she's talking about me. But
Yeah, both of us were nodding like midday pause.
siesta, yes. Well, you shared with us that you frequently do breath work with your clients. And I know some of our viewers may have heard of it, some like maybe heard of it, but don't know what it is. So can you share what it is and how does it help the body?
Yeah. So breath work it's intentional breathing used as a therapeutic tool, right? So we breathe every day, but this is kind of very honed in intentional breath work to regulate the nervous system, right? And so a slower inhale and a longer exhale starts to tell the brain a different message. You are safe. It's okay to relax. And that happens in real time. And there's a feedback in the system where the person starts to feel relaxed. So breath work, from my vantage point, helps to lower stress hormones. It reduces pain. It calms inflammation. It improves a person's focus, their awareness. It improves their energy. Obviously, it improves oxygen flow, but it supports their emotional capacity and their ability to be resilient in moments where things feel really stressful. So really important if you're thinking about calming autoimmune flare triggers, accessing the breath.
So this sounds really helpful to, the stress of trying to be positive, trying to navigate challenging times. So I'm wondering, do you need a person to do it? You could just do this by yourself, right?
Yes, you can totally enter a breathwork moment by yourself. It doesn't have to be guided. Some people like that facilitation, but you can totally breathe on your own.
All right. Well, can you lead us through a quick demo so
Sure.
our viewers can use this on their own? Something we
Yeah.
can do when we can't get to you in Poughkeepsie.
I'd be happy to. Okay, so wherever you are, to all those listening, just allow yourself to settle into your chair, into your sofa, whatever supported seating cushion that you're on, and just let your body breathe into the seat, allowing breath to just move through you and just be easy as you're breathing. So we're going to practice a very simple, gentle breath work that helps to regulate the nervous system, calming inflammation, and bringing your body back to a healing state. It's called diaphragmatic breathing, and I'll also take you on a bit of a journey to a bit of heart coherence as a focus as well. So just stay in that place that you've arrived in your chair, and let your shoulders soften a little bit as you're breathing. Unclench the jaw if you notice you're holding any tension there. Relax the muscles around your eyes. Maybe place a hand on your belly to connect to the breath moving in and out of your body. And while you're here, all you have to do is notice the pattern of breathing without forcing. Now begin to breathe down into your belly really deeply and allow it to gently expand really big into your lower abdomen as you inhale, and allow it to deflate as you exhale. Breathe down into the belly really deeply and releasing the breath, allowing the belly to deflate. So inhale through the nose, slow and soft. Exhale gently out of the nose or the mouth, letting the belly fall. And let's just do that at your own pace by inhaling on a count of 4 and exhaling on a count of 6. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now return to your normal breathing. Check in with how you feel. Now I'd like to ask you to keep that rhythm and just imagine your breath moving in and out of your heart area, as though the heart itself is breathing. Keeping the momentum, shorter inhale, longer exhale. Now bring your mind to something that evokes a feeling of gratitude, appreciation, or peace. It can be a person, a pet, a moment in your life, or the simple relief of this breath right now. And let that feeling fill your chest. Breathe into your heart. Breathe with appreciation. Breathe with ease. And trust the signals that you're feeling in your body, reminding you that you're safe, that you can soften, and you can heal. Let's take one final soft, big inhale into the heart and a long exhale out. And bring your awareness back into the virtual room. And I hope you're feeling more centered. and held.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you. I feel so relaxed. Like all of this tension that I usually carry here just kind of feels a little softer. You did it. What about you, Dr. Michaela? How are you feeling?
I almost forgot we're on Zoom. I'm ready to go back home to bed. So
Oh,
Love,
goodness.
I love that.
So that was extremely informative and helpful. I think it's good to just kind of disconnect from all of the stimuli sometimes. So thank you. We look forward to speaking with you at the end of the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, get my energy back up. No, I just feel relaxed, but I'm still here and excited to be here because we're getting into our special segment called Spotlight on Research.
Yes. So Spotlight on Research is where we learn more about the path to developing new treatments. And now, after learning more about clinical trials in previous episodes, you might be interested in participating, but wondering, how am I going to figure this out? Am I alone in figuring out how this would work in my life? So today's topic is support through clinical trials. And we have Dr. Ashwin Boda to help us out. Hi, Dr. Boda.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
We're great, really relaxed. So we're grateful to have you with us today. And so your research site, which is also known as an investigator site, where are you located?
So we have a few research sites. We have four in the Dallas area. We have one site in the Detroit area, and then we have one in Houston.
Awesome, awesome. So you're all over the place. Okay. That's good. That's
Yes.
good for everyone to know. Well, we often just envision a trial having like a mad scientist looking at a test tube, but who are the different types of people that a clinical trial participant might interact with if they join a study, and what are their roles?
So the main interaction would be with the doctor. You know, they're called investigators because they're investigating the different drugs. So that would be the first interaction. Then there is also an interaction with the staff who are called the research coordinators. Now, the coordinators are people who the patients would end up spending about an hour to an hour and a half at every visit. So there's a lot of information exchange that happens. Mostly the coordinators are very qualified and experienced in autoimmune diseases. So they are able to answer a lot of questions that the patients have, and the doctors are always available to answer any of the other questions that patients might have. But it's a team effort, and between the doctor and the coordinator, almost all the questions that the patients have are answered.
So we have all these support people that you've mentioned. What are some other specific supports that the trial can sometimes offer to people who are participating in a study?
So there are a lot of challenges for people to, come in and participate. The first and the biggest challenge is people think they're being experimented upon, which is not the case. I tell my patients that it's not you being experimented upon; it's actually the drug that is being experimented upon.
Mhm.
And quite a few challenges are, how do I get to the site? How do I get to the visits? The trials actually offer transport assistance, be it paying for gas, paying for the mileage, or in some cases, sending an Uber their way so that they don't even have to drive. And with lupus, the one of the things is that patients are not comfortable driving. There's a lot of fatigue, a lot of joint pain, and fogginess is another thing that our patients describe. So they prefer not to drive. We're able to offer, a taxi sent to their home to pick them up and then drop them back. So those are the things. Then, because they're coming for the research appointments, time off of work is also something that is a big issue that we see that the patients have. So most research centers, certainly us, we have appointments that are available early morning. That way, they can get the visit out of the way and then go on with their normal daily life. Um, Obviously, we provide a doctor's note, but a lot of times the patients also understand that the visits are long but necessary for what assessments that are needing to be done. So,
Mhm, mhm.
but yeah, early morning appointments in some cases, if it's absolutely necessary, coming in on the weekend to make things easier for patients. So those are the things that can be done.
That sounds super helpful. I mean, yeah, definitely. I can imagine, you want to be at this part of this trial, but I have work. So having flexible hours, helping pay for transportation. And I know, of course, this varies from time to time, but those sound like the standard ones. And I've definitely heard of a few other things just in general compensation. Sometimes some trials will give some of that too. But say somebody doesn't have health insurance, how can be a part of a trial help?
So clinical trials do not need health insurance. That is another thing. Patients do not understand or
Mhm.
might not know
Yeah.
that okay, no insurance is absolutely no problem. The patients are in the trial, willingly. They're giving the information, and they're free to discuss it with their families, with their primary physicians or their rheumatologists, and make a decision. But when they do make the decision to be in the trial, there is nothing that's asked as far as financial responsibility or insurance. All the tests that are done as part of the research study, and these include any blood tests, any kind of imaging that is necessary, anything and everything that is done as part of the study or research trial is covered. Patients do not have to pay anything out of their pocket. And in most cases, they are compensated for their time. The compensation is not the reason why anybody would want to be in a trial, because it's not a lot. But yes, the financial responsibility is zero when it comes to taking part in a clinical trial. And as far as patients or anybody who doesn't have an insurance, they still get to see a rheumatologist while they're, or a qualified doctor while they're in a clinical trial. So that's kind of a win-win for them. Okay, you don't have insurance, but you get all the tests done, you still see the specialist. So yeah, it,
That's
it,
really
it helps out.
Yeah, no, that's a really awesome part of it. I guess, if you don't have health insurance, you are getting quality care without having to have insurance and knowing that it's not charged. And lastly, I know we have like time for maybe like one last question, but how does being a part of a trial, I know that it helped me, but I wanted to hear from you. How does being a part of a trial support the overall industry and other people living with lupus?
So any treatment, and this is not just lupus, every single treatment that you see in the pharmacies out there, they had to go through clinical trials. So, and there are so many patients who actually voluntarily, even if they have a good insurance coverage, they still want to come and do the trials because they know this is the only way that treatments might come out, new treatments might come out. In case of lupus, we have had so many patients who are, in their 50s, and they know that lupus runs in the family. So they inform us, they tell us that we are doing this for the next generation. I
Mhm.
know somebody in my family might end up having lupus. So the best way that, or the best gift that we can give them is a new medicine or something that works for them. So, and they do understand that being in a trial is the only way to ensure that there are new treatments that come out, and they are actually willing to be a part of the trial to help find the cure.
Thank you, Dr. Boda, for your work, for closing out this season's spotlight on research. And now we're going to welcome back all our guests to share some closing thoughts.
Thank you. Hey, everyone.
Welcome back. So, we thought it was appropriate to talk about your mantra or affirmation that you say to yourself when you need encouragement, especially as we think about going into a new year.
2026.
Yeah. So we're going to start with Shedrica. Do you want to share with us your mantra?
It's not necessarily a mantra, but I'll just shorten it that way. It's actually a Bible verse, but it's like all things work out for your good. And anytime something seems so frustrating or overwhelming, or if I'm like, you know what, this is going to work out for my good. And that's the way I, get things stay going.
Awesome. Ayanna, what's your thoughts? What's your mantra or affirmation?
My mantra is, or affirmation, why be safe when I can be strong? And I came up with that during a very grueling workout. And I had back problems at one point, and I read this book about, similar to what Dr. India was talking about, the mind-body connection, and trying to feel safe in my body. And that's one thing that helped with my back problems, because I ended up having to get an injection to deal with my sciatica and slip disc. And just in the course of a workout, whenever my back starts to feel like it's going to flare up, I always remind myself I'm safe in my body. I'm safe in my body. But just one day in the course of a workout, what the little voice in my head said, why be safe when you can be strong? And I've just been repeating that back to myself just over and over whenever times get uncomfortable.
Definitely. So we have faith, we have this idea of resilience and pushing through in some ways and shapes and forms. Dr. India, what would you say yours is?
I would definitely prescribe a specific one where a patient of mine or even myself may have a symptom expression, but my body is doing the best it can, even during a symptom expression, and I can still meet myself with compassion and care and grace.
Passion, care, and grace. And Dr. Boda, you have a mantra or affirmation you say?
Well, I see so many people suffering with lupus, and Shedrica, Ayanna, Chanel, yourself, everybody are so resilient. So just seeing them and giving me that's my inspiration actually, and then they are the ones who actually give me hope. It's amazing how resilient and how positive the patients with lupus are, and just getting a chance to help them, I think that's a very, very rewarding experience, and I consider myself very lucky to be in a position to do that.
No, that's so great. That's so great.
I mean, I think we could take all of these, put them on t-shirts, sell them, but just want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. Shedrica, Ayanna, Dr. India, Dr. Boda, you've all been such an inspiration, and we appreciate you being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. And a special thanks to all of you watching this season, the past 5 seasons. I mean, we've been doing this for a minute now. And so feel free to make sure you check out any episodes that you've missed on youtube.com/@BetterTogetherLupus Live, or you can check out blackdoctor.org on Facebook. And make sure you don't miss another one and didn't miss any past episodes.
And a huge thank you to our friends at Biogen who have supported this show, helped us bring these great conversations to you, our viewers. So for more information and to learn more about participating in clinical trials, please scan the QR code that you see here on the screen. You can do this by using your camera, or you can go to biogentriallink.com. That's BIOGEN triallink.com. And the direct link will also be in our chat.
Awesome. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Better Together Lupus, and on Facebook at Better Together Lupus. This is the end of our 5th season, and we're hoping and looking forward to seeing you for season 6 in 2026. Yes.
Can't wait. And now we're going to put some hearts in the chat as we close this show and season with Spoken Word by Chanel.
I knew a woman who felt the aches before she had them, who made weariness a character trait, found comfort in discomfort so much that she complained even on the good days. She missed the pink of a sunrise sky, the purple in the sunset, the tickle when capturing a snowflake. She forgot that tears can come in both sad times and in laughter. Yes, there is struggle amidst crisis, but never forget the journey that came before. When you overcame those seasons, those moments of relief you experienced after, your mindset matters. So never forget to give yourself gold stars for remembering who the heck you are, because the hard times will fight to make you into someone unrecognizable instead of the overcomer. An overcomer with faith that's unshakable. Trust that anything in your path will make way for you to pass, just like all of the mountains that you have moved in the past. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. Take care.